This is Valley News Live at 6.
We're following a developing story out of Becker County where 2 people and 2 dogs were found dead inside a home. Deputies from the sheriff's office and Detroit Lakes police officers found the bodies of 1 woman and 1 man.
No names have been released. The bodies are being sent to the Ramsey County Medical Examiner's office for autopsies and confirmation of ID. The Becker County Sheriff says more information will be released at a later time, but as of right now, there is no threat to the public. A Fargo family is still in disbelief tonight. They say they lost everything in a devastating fire over the weekend. Fire crews battled the blaze for hours at the West Winds complex that's located in the 3400 block of 42nd Street South. This happened Sunday afternoon. It displaced residents from 24 units in the building.
Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley spoke with the family today, who says they're thankful they got out and they hope that sharing their story sparks fire preparedness across the community.
It was a normal, lazy Sunday for the Juniper family in their 2nd floor unit they've called home for almost a decade now. That is until about 3 p.m. rolled around.
We were smelling something hot and we couldn't figure out what it was, and my son looks out his window and it looked like a sandstorm.
And when they investigated further,
it was smoke and flames.
The blaze was burning through their balcony when the family grabbed their dog and pet lizard and ran outside.
It broke my heart.
Juniper says her family watched in horror as 20 years of memories were turned to ash. Firefighters unable to save their unit from total destruction.
Pretty much everything is gone. We really have nothing left to get back.
She says while the loss is devastating, she's just thankful her family and neighbors were able to escape before it was too late. And she says she hopes her story encourages everyone to make sure smoke detectors are working and to go over fire safety plans with your family.
Because you never know.
In Fargo, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
The Juniper family is still searching for a new place to call home. They're staying with family members for the time being.
A GoFundMe has been set up to help the family get back on their feet. You can find that on your VNL News app. Just click on this story.
Temperatures expected to drop tonight and could lead to frost for some in the valley. Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson is here now with details. Hutch?
Yeah, we have some cold weather heading our way. We're going to give you a quick checkup of the latest radar of a hurricane in the Gulf Coast. Ian here is working its way. You can see the clear defined eye, that eye, a good 160 miles from the Fort Myers area, and that is where it is anticipated to be making landfall or close to it. Now, as we take a look at the current position and go through the overnight, it works its way toward the Gulf Coast of Florida and will pass through. Now, just an item of note, Category 4 strength is forecast here by the latest models. The winds will be strongest, the surge will be strongest on this right side of the storm. But we'll keep you posted as to that as our neighbors down in the peninsula of Florida are bracing for a storm that could be quite impactful with both storm surge and winds in excess of 100 miles per hour. For us, very quiet tonight. We are concerned about freezing conditions, and this is a hard freeze, a killing freeze that will end the growing season in central Minnesota, eastern Becker, eastern Otter Tail. Expect hours of freezing temperatures. Frost likely here in Fargo, Moorhead, Grand Forks as we head to temperatures that'll be cold. So make sure those garden hoses in the freezing areas are disconnected. And well, of course, if you want your plants to last, you better take care of them tonight. I'll have hour by hour details on how low you go. And we'll talk warm up here as well.
That's the kind of talk I want to hear.
All right.
Thanks.
Well, switching from summer to fall temperatures here may not be so bad compared to what some locals are headed into. Fargo Red Cross volunteers Paul Henke is driving the emergency response vehicle from Fargo to Florida ahead of Hurricane Ian. A volunteer from Fergus Falls is riding with him.
The driver of the Enderlin school bus that crashed into the Maple River on Friday night has been identified as 62-year-old Alan Bunn of Alice, North Dakota. According to his Facebook profile, he's been driving for the district since 2018. He and 7 students from the Enderlin Area School District were on the bus when it crashed through a guardrail into the river. 2 students were thrown from the bus and taken to local hospitals. 1 was airlifted. All are expected to be okay. Authorities say no decision or citations or criminal charges have been made.
Grand Forks police have identified the 6 people who were injured in an early morning crash on Monday as affiliates of the musical artist B.O.B. who had a concert in Grand Forks on Sunday night. Officials say 32-year-old Starsha Swift was driving a vehicle with 6 passengers when she left the road, struck the median, and drove off-road before overturning onto Demers Avenue. She was arrested for DUI, DUI refusal, 6 counts of reckless endangerment, and driving under suspension.
2 of those passengers were ejected from the vehicle and emergency responders started CPR with them immediately. The other 4 were taken to All True for apparent non-life-threatening injuries. They ranged in age from 24 to 36. This is an active investigation. Anyone with information is encouraged to contact police.
Those traveling in downtown Moorhead will be noticing a new safety warning. Moorhead police teamed up with students last week to stencil rail safety messages on sidewalks to spread awareness for Rail Safety Week. According to MPD, a person or vehicle is hit by a train every 3 hours.
The look of Fargo's airport is going to be changing. Upgrade plans for Hector International Airport have been unveiled, and you're being asked to give your opinion before the work begins. As presented, the price tag for remodeling is going to cost over $120 million, and it's going to be spread over 4 years. The developers say the improvements would create additional gates, pushback ticketing desks for everyone, and providing more room for food and retail shops for passengers already through security. Now there's going to be another presentation on what's on the table. It actually began about 5 minutes ago on the 2nd floor of Hector Airport.
While some travelers have to account wait times in their airport security line, you can start making that line much shorter. Hector International Airport is inviting travelers to take part in the popular TSA PreCheck expedited screening program. It picks out low-risk travelers and makes a more efficient way to get through security. Now there's no need to remove shoes, laptops, light outerwear, or belts. To enroll in that program, you can click on this story on our VNL website.
Over 50 lawmakers from all across the country are now calling attention to the Chinese-based manufacturer that bought property in Grand Forks, and these officials are saying this is a problem for national security. The Fufeng Group is a group that paid $2.3 million to buy some 300 acres of land just 12 miles away from the Grand Forks Air Force Base. The lawmakers say the Grand Forks base has exceptional intelligence, surveillance, and other high-profile abilities, which make it an ideal spot to monitor and intercept military activity. They also say the presence of a CCP-affiliated corporation near a military base undermines the integrity of the country's high-capability bases.
Later on Valley News Live at 6, after his death 71 years ago, a soldier is home to be laid to rest.
And morning temperatures today were mighty chilly, as we talked about last evening. Some 20s were possible. That's indeed what we saw in the Bemidji area. 28 there, 30 in Roseau and Hallock, and even colder for some tonight. Freeze warnings and frost advisories in effect. Your hour-by-hour forecast is next.